in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the young generation animates 2 hubs of the EoC's incubating network. The hubs are both a place to support for the startup of new business activities and a living space of sharing the efforts and commitment to live an economy that takes care of people, their relationships, and the environment. All this will not be possible without the pioneering role of those who first embraced the EoC's proposal to the African continent. This webinar will host the voices of both of these generations. So I begin by introducing myself. I am called Fone Vanessa Bibish from Cameroon, presently connecting from Yaoundé, a student of Sophia University, studying economics management. And we are going to be your host, Fernandel and I. So you're all welcome. Today we are going to have available translations in 4 languages: Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and French. So for all those who would like to give a comment, a question, your questions can be written in the chat, in the Zoom, or on the YouTube channel. From there, my colleague Fernanda will pick it up, and at the right time, he's going to pose the questions. So I would like to greet everyone who is joining us today, members of the Economy of Communion, students of Sophia University, participants of Economy of Francesco, and those who heard about the webinar through the social media. So today we are going to go right ahead to welcome Mr. Steve from Yaoundé, Cameroon. He's going to help us introduce our theme of today. So, Mr. Steve, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. It's a pleasure being with you today, all. And the pleasure is also mine to be able to introduce this webinar in Central Africa with Sophia. A webinar for the 30th anniversary of Communion. Let me say that consultant and also coordinator of Economy of Communion International Incubating Network. I got in touch with Economy of Communion in favor of a conference at the Catholic University Institute of Boya in 2000.
I think we have a little challenge there. Mr. Steve, can you get us? We seem to have a little technical problem there. We're hoping he's going to join us very soon enough. The theme of today's webinar is 2 generations, 1 dream, EoC in Central Africa. So I don't know if Mr. Steve can join us right away. If not, I think he's trying to fix it out.
Mr. Steve is going to be with us in a few minutes, just arranging little technical problems. 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the video can be turned off if this eases communication.
Steve, tu te mets une fois juste.
Okay,
Yes,
welcome
sorry
back.
for the disconnection. We had some technical problems here, but the technical problems is already resolved now. I think I can go ahead.
Of course, do.
Just go ahead.
I don't know if you got what I said in the beginning. So I was saying that in 2012, I was very happy to get introduced to economy of communion during a conference at the Catholic University Institute of Goya, where Professor Leo Andringa, Genevieve Sanzi, and many others, professors from Sofia University Institute, were there. And thanks to them, the way they share their experiences and their knowledges, some young people, among which me, we were happy to take the decision to go through the true economy of communion and learn more. And that's how we try to listen from our entrepreneurs within the country. And also we made our own experiences, which help us to really understand what economy of communion is all about. And going through that, we understood that by sharing profit, economy of communion is taking a very big decision. Sharing profit, that is to change completely the view of the economy system. Wanting a more human, fairer economy begins by making a strong choice, going against the current world, and that's what economy of communion entrepreneurs are doing every day and every time. Let me take some few examples. I will say during this webinar, we shall have economy of communion entrepreneurs who are going to share with us their experiences and what they have been able to do. I will take the example of Melanie Njono, who go against the system by, she's a poultry farm. She has a poultry farm, and then on what she does, she considers the right price. When she look at the market, she's able to change the price of her product, not in regard of what is being seen in the market, but only in regard of what she proposes and what she thinks is the right price. So that helps me to talk about the value created. The value created is shared throughout the chain. Each time the entrepreneur sets a price or a salary, when he chooses to create new jobs or to make an investment to produce under conditions, certain conditions more respectful of people and environment, it poses a choice of distribution of value. Is this sharing more fair? Is this sharing more responsible? Is this in the sense of a communion? It will not make sense to share profits if they were produced in detriment of certain stakeholders, in contempt of employees, or of certain partners in the company. So, as I took the example of Melanie with her poultry farm, who sells product at what she considers to be the right price, despite that they are even heavier than the market standard, we are also going to have another experience in the construction company with BSO Consulting, where younger engineer, just fresh graduated from universities, take their first working experiences besides experienced engineer for them to have at least their first skills and know-how that they are supposed to gain with much experiences and that are very required by the market of their field. We are also going to have the experience of Nkeng Kkafu during this webinar. Nkeng Kkafu is going to share with us how well he applied those principles in his company. I would like to remind some of you who knows and then some others who don't know of a conference we had in Kenya in 2015. And during that conference in Kenya, we all agreed that one cake isn't enough. And because one cake isn't enough, we decided now to help the creation of new enterprises. And that's how in 2016, it was launched Economy of Communion International Incubating Network. And There are many herbs around the world, and there are also herbs in Cameroon and in Congo. And we understood that those herbs are there to answer certain questions, having new entrepreneurs with those values shared by economy of communion. And also, if we take what happened in 1991, if Chiara Lubich, haunted by the inequalities she had seen in Sao Paulo, thought of involving entrepreneurs to resolve the issue rather than increasing the number of social initiatives, it is because she knows their creative capacity and also their way to invent new and novel paths for solving problems. The EoC will continue certainly to develop if we, you and I and others, many others, each of us are creative and know how to invent new ways to reverse the form of poverty suffered and also to spread communion everywhere. Then we'll present the initiatives started in our various herbs. Here, there will be initiatives that has been started in Cameroon herb and in the herb of Congo too. Let me take this opportunity to share with you our new project that we are having. You know, Cameroon is facing a big challenge, social crisis too. But we are thinking that for these next years coming, we should be focusing more on agriculture. Because of what? Of what exactly? Because first of all, agriculture represents more than 25% of our economic system. And also because more than 50% of our manufactured agricultural products are being imported from abroad, Asia, Europe, and America. When we look at that, we also understand that in our various families, there are a kind of poverty that pushes young people to leave the country to Europe, and where in Europe, they are able even there to do some agricultural activities. Meanwhile, in the country, there's a lot of spaces, fertile spaces where they can do those activities. So those poses the problem of immigration challenges too. In the country, as I said, we are planning through our incubator to help to contribute to make agriculture more attractive to young people. And that is our target for the next years with the spirit of economy of communion. And we have started doing that already. This year, we have done a first step by acquiring a land where we are going to open a business park. We will have a business park on the agricultural products only, and it's going also to be a commercial park. Thank you very much for your listening. And I'm sure through the experiences we are going to hear today, we will be more satisfied. See you. Vanessa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Steve, for that wonderful introduction. It sounds very interesting. So now we are going to move right away. So say hello to Mr. Mr. Simon Nkeng Kkafu. Hello, sir.
Hello, fellow panelists. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We wish to hear from you, Mr. Simon. Can you please introduce yourself to us and also your business activity? And maybe also share with us what motivated you in joining the EoC.
Good morning once more to you, Vanessa, and to all participants in this webinar meeting. I'm Nkeng Kkafu Simon. I come from Fontaine in Cameroon, and I live in Yaoundé with my family, and I'm a father of 7 children. Late in 2013, I was opportuned to be introduced into the world of EoC. I fell in love with the EoC motto, which reads, and I paraphrase, love the other's business as your own. It means engaging in technology transfer with other EoC businesses, taking on the EoC interns, underwriting other projects, co-creating new social enterprises to deal with poverty in local communities and beyond. Well, I began a personal business called Nkeng Enterprises Now it is turned into a family business, and subsequently, we run it in the spirit of EoC. It has gone through transformation and modifications in its history. Today, we are into stationery and office equipment and associated services in communication, secretarial duties, documentation, and restoration in school milieu. We have partnership with Global Business International and with Etablissement Sahel Ventures. And we are engaged in the importation of digitally related software, printing machines from Europe. The motto of our business is, and always has been, doing business with morals. It is difficult to determine how honestly we have stuck to the respect of this principle, but our utmost has always been to stay within its scope. As the years have passed by, we have seen the need to build a business based on living the gospel. We have seen the need to build a business as a means of bringing integrity and dignity to work and to our daily transactions and interactions with the public and our clients. We have seen the need to build a business with a conducive atmosphere where our co-workers, collaborators, and assistants feel the touch of what they do and have more than enough reason to be motivated to work. 25 years plus in business is so much time, isn't it? Would imagine that the business must have taken extreme dimensions. But when we establish a business and decide to bring unexpected moral values to their day-to-day decision, the challenges are enormous, and the temptation and the pressure to swing off from set of goals and objectives mounts by the day. But notwithstanding, we're hanging on. Vanessa, are you there?
Always. Thank you, sir. You already told us that Kenka's enterprise has as motto doing business with morals. What was the motive? Like, why choose this particular motto?
Thank you, Vanessa, for your question, which is as interesting as the motto of our enterprise, doing business with morals. I have grown up with the conviction that we must live for something. We create the values for which we want to live for. We choose the side of the coin for which we want to adhere to. The domain of business is inherent with negation, dominated by greed and the quest to make profit by all means available. In business transactions, it's a choice to cheat. It's a choice to bribe and corrupt so that things can move fast and to your advantage. It's a choice to exploit your workers by paying them less and making the utmost out of their savoir-faire. It's a choice to disregard legislation. We can cite as many of those choices as possible. I choose to go against the current. It has played enormously negatively to the rapid growth of my business, but I have obtained satisfaction in my spirit of transaction. And if I had the opportunity to start all over, I'll stick to the same principles of giving a human face to business transaction. That is it.
That's incredible, Mr. Simon. And it's very obvious that trying to live this motto throughout, like day in, day out in the business, you face numerous challenges. I don't know if you could share with us some of those challenges that you really face.
Oh, no.
Maybe you need to unmute your mic.
Trying to keep to the principle of doing business with morals has remained a daunting task. In multiple occasions, indeed, in about 90% of the times, we get confronted with people who do not understand your language as an honest business person, or more or less, they pretend they do not understand your language. If you persist, and have always persisted, they shy off, but notwithstanding consequences. The consequences will run from long delays in payment of bills and subsequent maneuvers to discourage one from working with them. I remember on one occasion, I was requested to fail a geste so that my documents could be swiftly forwarded to the accounting department for quick payment. I refused to budge, and a payment which was supposed to be done in less than 1 month was only done in the 6th month. On yet another occasion, in the same structure, when management changed hands, I was overtly asked to deposit a substantial sum of money so that the name of our enterprise could remain among the main suppliers of services to the company. By my principle, I wouldn't do that. I lost my position as a supplier of services to that company. In another structure altogether, the experience was different, though similar. I remember being approached by the assistant chief accountant who asked me to buy him a telephone of a particular mark. It wasn't cheap anyway. Of course, I had a bill pending on his table for payment procedure. When I turned down his request and wrote to hierarchy, I was subsequently frustrated from doing business with them. Because of the constraints of time, Vanessa, we are obliged to cut short our experiences. But in all of these difficulties, we are sometimes agreeably surprised by the unexpected providence, the loving intervention of the Supreme, which always arrives in terms of new clienteles, surprising renovations, unexpected revenues, and ideas of possible expansion and new products. However, it's never always funds. The rosy side of it is the opportunity of stumbling on some God-fearing people in the decision-making positions, selfless in their attitude, but very strongly committed to their work.
Oh,
Over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you, sir. Another question. We know one of the major characteristics of economy of communion, EoC enterprises, is the sharing of profits. We would like to know, how does Nkeng Kkafu enterprise goes about this?
Once more, Vanessa, thank you for that pertinent question, which is the raison d'etre for the existence of EoC enterprises. Small as our enterprise is, we have taken it as an onerous responsibility to make our collaborators and assistants enjoy their work and their working environment. We have more or less succeeded to instill a conducive atmosphere or environment of camaraderie, an environment of trust, and a stress-free working environment. Although we have had a series of setbacks, we have struggled to ensure that our collaborators and assistants relatively have and enjoy a comfortable take-home salary. We have ensured that they are registered with the National Social Insurance Fund. We ensure that when our sales go above our monthly target, they share in the extra profits by having bonuses. Their take-home income is not static, that is year in, year out. The prescription of the labor code are respected in relation to regular increment as per the number of years put into service. On the other hand, we use some of our profits to do prison work and cater for the less privileged children in orphanages as the means provides. In the enhancement of human dignity, I've consecrated a portion of my time every month, and this for the past 13 years, with the prisoners of the Yaoundé main prison. In this humanitarian gesture, we, I and my wife have set aside a little budget from the profits accrued from our enterprise for this strata of people in society. Every month, and when I say we, I'm talking about myself and other brothers and sisters who share a common faith and spirituality, visit the prison yard on every third Sunday to share our experiences with them, and also to share whatever quantity of food and or clothing items we have available. And of course, we have taken it as a duty to organize annual end of year feasts for them. All of this from the little profits we accrue from our businesses, from our business.
Thank you, sir. Now, with the coming of the coronavirus pandemic, your enterprise is certainly affected. What measures were taken by the company to overcome this difficult moment? Please, you need to unmute your mic.
Okay, it's understood. Sorry, technical problem, but it's okay. I think it's okay now. I was saying that in relation to your question, the advent of COVID-19 was generally very devastating to many business activities and business ventures. In one of our structure, which is located in a school milieu, its activities were almost grounded to a halt because there was a shutdown of the school. We were rescued by a partnership proposal from Etablissement Sahel Ventures, to which we redeployed part of our staff to boost their team of experts involved with the production, sales, and distribution of anti-COVID-19 disinfectants. This was a perfect example of unexpected providence. The earnings from this transaction and our partnership permitted us to maintain our staff and pay salaries without a hitch. The partnership with Sahel Ventures continues to date. As for now, it is true that there is a second wave of the COVID-19, but as I say, we continue in our activities with Sahel Ventures.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Just to conclude with you, what relationship have you with the young generation of EoC in Cameroon?
Thank you, Vanessa, for that question. I am particularly flattered by their ingenuity. I have a very positive appreciation of the younger generation who have EoC startups and those who embrace the principles of EoC in their budding enterprises and or commercial activities. I think on this platform, on this webinar platform, I can identify a couple of them who have received counsel from me, those with whom we have worked on the field for EoC-related training of internally displaced persons in Cameroon and other related projects. I certainly wish them well, pledge my availability for collaboration, and pray they remain the generation that would uphold and sustain EoC values in entrepreneurship in the coming years in Cameroon in particular, and Central Africa in general.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Simon. Now, talking about the young generation, we are going to hear from Miss Nji Mabi. We are all ears.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Thank you for the team. Thank you for the panelists and everyone. Like Vanessa says, I am Mabi and I am from Cameroon. I would like to talk to you first how the herb of Cameroon has been. Like Steve introduced, you heard that from Kenya. After Kenya, we decided that one cake was not enough. So that is when we came back to our various African settings and we decided to come up with these herbs. So you ask yourself, what has been happening in the herb of Cameroon? Like I said, the Cameroon herb was born around 2017 and has witnessed a lot of growth in different levels. The beginning was quite tough, was a tough one because, you know, the new concept that the economy of communion is bringing to incubate young people is very different from what the young people receive sometimes outside. There is a tendency for young people to go towards herbs that incubate financially also. But for us, this was not really our first strength. Our strength first was to provide the young entrepreneurs and any other person that comes towards us with our values and our principles, just like Mr. Simon was saying. So for us, it was a big challenge in the beginning, with a very timid number of persons coming towards the Cameroon herb. But as we say, as time rolled on, we began having different set of young people coming from incubation. Some were even fixed in the office of incubation, while some others were outside. We also decided to target like young persons in universities and also young entrepreneurs that were out there who wanted to begin their lives. We saw this portion of people because we saw that it was a good target. You know, there are so many young people these days who want to become entrepreneurs because of one reason or the other. And some of them are even formed into schools, business schools, and so we decided to go towards the younger generation in different universities, like the Catholic University of Boya, which is a business university also, and the Catholic University of Yaoundé. And we worked hand in glove with these young people. And now we are seeing the fruit. In the beginning, when you throw the seed, you don't know how it's going to grow. But just like the other speakers said, now we are already harvesting the fruit of these people. Then I also say that the relationship among the startup businesses that we had in the beginning is making us to see some fruits now. Among us, we have a very good relationship among the startups, and this also is giving us a lot of strength. That was the first stage of the herb of Cameroon. The second stage of the herb of Cameroon is the fact that we also began to have, trainings. The young persons began to have practical trainings, formal trainings, and also among us, we began seeing that it was very important to start going into the practical part of the economy of communion. You can see that the first part, as I said, is almost like a way of life. When we came with this idea, we began giving it as a way of life. And once the people accepted it as a way of life, and then the second stage of it, we took it now in the practical form to be with the entrepreneurs, to have these trainings, to even be ourselves an example. Now I'll go into my own story as a young, hopefully a young growing EoC entrepreneur. First of all, I originate from Sofia. I studied in Sofia, but at the politics department. And when I came back to Cameroon, I was opportune to teach the economy of communion at the Catholic University Institute of Boya for like 2 years. And while there, I was also working with the entrepreneurial team, entrepreneurial students. But to tell you the truth, I had never really had any idea of one day even dreaming to become an entrepreneur myself, or it had never been in my thoughts. I was mostly looking at the academician side of the coin. But also working in the EoC, in the herb office, I also felt that sometimes, not just because I want to show an example, but just a little seed can also bear much fruit. And while also developing the desire to become an entrepreneur, I threw myself into this venture, which I woke up one morning and found myself producing jams. I started doing jams, what the Italian person would call a marmelade. And in the beginning, it was kind of difficult, but with the help also of some of the EoC entrepreneurs and the help also of the herb office, I saw that it was possible, because sometimes we only give to the people, we only tell the people, but it's also good to be like an example. So we began this year in July. The company is not up to a year old. We began in July, and we have really seen a growth. Just like Mr. Nkeng Simon was saying, once you put some extra values, moral values in any business that you do, you begin to see that there's a lot of difference. And there's also a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain because you are not doing what you're supposed to, you're not doing what others are doing to grow very fast. You realize that you have to slow down because it is not what you're supposed to do. And this is so tempting. It's very, very tempting for me as a young entrepreneur to say this, because once you're young, you want to have the money now, you want to do it now, and you turn up, you want to forget about the values, the principles. This has happened to me a lot. There are some times when I want to just say, I forget about these principles really, and I go for the money. For example, you know very well that jams, you have to put a lot of sugar to conserve jams. This is just a little experience. So for me, it is like, so if you put a lot of sugar, your jams also can stay for longer, even for 3 years. And I'm like, yeah, that's very good. But at the same time, if you look at the principles, if you look at the human values, the human dignity that we are trying to preach to other persons, it is also not to destroy the people's systems with sugar, I think so. So it is a detriment for you. So what we try to do is we really try to put the limited amount of sugar, knowing that it is not going to last for long, like others are going to last. But also we explain to our customers. So we have a double work, not only selling, but you also take the time to explain to them that it's not going to last as long as you think. But for us, it's also a good deal because you're taking care of the health of the general population that consumes your jam. And also, the company has seen a growth in the fact that we have 2 permanent workers right now who are permanent. And the part-time workers, we have about 6, because during the working session, it's supposed to be a lot of people. So you see that it's a great challenge, but at the same time, there is that force behind you that pushes you. You know that at the end of the month, there are some people who are going to eat because of you. So this makes you also to work very hard, and not just working hard, but also working with moral principles and values as the economy of communion teaches us. So for me, it has been a great challenge, not only to pass out the message of the economy of communion, but to be a practical living example of it. And it is really a double challenge. So that is how our help has been. And now we are going to go to the 3rd stage of the herb. Mbunya is going to tell us about the 3rd stage of our herb, because I told you the 2 stages, and now we are going to go into the more practical stage of the herb, which Mbunya has been really the leading part to this.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to watch a short video of about two minutes before Godric intervenes. Taina?
Hello, I'm Godric Azombu, Project Manager for the training of internally displaced persons organized by the Economy of Communion International Incubating Network. For the trainings of these internally displaced persons, as we all know, there are many internally displaced persons in our country as regards to the current socio-economic crisis we are facing. So many of these internally displaced persons are found in towns like Yaoundé, Bafoussam, Chan, and Limbe. We had to go towards them in this particular initiative, and also to...
Okay. Godric, I think you can continue now.
All right. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Godric Mbunya Azombu, a student of Sophia in the Department of Economics and Management. And I'm very delighted to share with you what the Economy of Communion International Incubating Network Hub Cameroon has been able to do in terms of these practical aspects, like Mabi was saying. So as you all know, our country has been facing a crisis since 2016. And we decided to come up with this training also together with our young entrepreneurs who were under incubation. We discussed with them, and for them it was okay. They were willing to give this their know-how to these displaced persons. And that is how, in unity with other economy of commune entrepreneurs worldwide, economy of commune entrepreneurs in Cameroon, were able to start up these trainings. So we trained these internally displaced persons in 4 major towns where there are so many of them here in Cameroon. That's the towns of Yaoundé, Chang, Bafoussam, and Limbe. We're able to target at least 306 of these IDPs. We trained them on fabrication of beading of stencils for the fabrication of slippers and sandals. We trained them on crocheting of mufflers, or call it pullovers, caps, and ponchos. We also trained them on all forms of soap, that's liquid soap, powdered soap, medicinal soap. We trained them too on other things like spaghetti, there was mayonnaise to assist them in their home for food at home. And also there was coaching and motivation, because some of these IDPs actually ran away from the war in very terrible situations. Like some of them, their houses were razed, some of them lost loved ones, and so on. So there was a lot of coaching and motivation to allow these IDPs now accept the new reality. So we're very happy that this training has really transformed their lives. We did not just train them. The peculiarity about the training was to train them, but also to give them startup materials for them to be able to produce on their own. And this is exactly what they did. And we continue to do follow-up. We followed up for all these IDPs in all these major towns. And we're very happy that we're able to organize an award for those of them who have really been resilient. We titled it the IDP Resilience Award, which was organized on the 6th of March to award some outstanding internally displaced persons. We awarded 6 of them, but not just these 6. We awarded these 6 and also encourage others who have learned and who are still dragging their feet to actually use it as an income generating activity for themselves. So that is what we have been able to do. And I'm particularly very happy because we've touched the lives of some of these IDPs, especially with some that had some very strong stories. There is a young guy here in Yaoundé, Atabong Cyril, who entire family was displaced alongside his entire family. Their house was even burned. And we realized later on in the training that we had trained him in Yaoundé, and then we trained him in Yaoundé plus his mother and his sisters, and then we trained his father in Chang. So we trained the entire family, and we are particularly very happy for him because now he owns a workshop. He fabricates slippers and sandals. It helps him to be able to help the family to do the rest. And his mom and sister, his father, they are all involved in the activity. It's same too for many other IDPs who are able to do these products in a very nice way. Some have shops where they can actually showcase these products and sell to the public. Some have gone to the extent where they are able to sell their products abroad. So we continue to follow up these internally displaced persons, continue to give them mentorship when necessary, and hope for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Godric, and thank you to the entire team from Cameroon. Now we are going to ride on directly to Congo. We're going to watch a video of about 4 minutes introducing the herb of Congo. Taina, can you help us?
Je m'appelle Edouard Côte, associé gérant de la société African Software. Bienvenue chez nous. Nous sommes Microsoft, une entreprise de développement informatique. Faisons la programmation avancée. Je m'appelle Michel.
Je réponds au nom de Joachim Bakajik, chargé de projet au sein de l'incubateur EoC où nous sommes en train d'aider les jeunes entrepreneurs à l'élaboration de leur business plan.
C'est vrai que
Chacun, pour commencer, on a toujours une source d'inspiration. Il y a des aînés qu'on a eu à rencontrer qui nous ont pratiquement inspirés par leur façon de gérer, par leur façon de résoudre ou d'affronter qui sont liés à l'entrepreneuriat. Parce qu'on sait que la vie des entrepreneurs n'est pas aussi simple que nous les croyons, qui nous ont pratiquement conseillés, qui nous ont aidés, qui nous ont inspirés et qui continuent encore à les faire pour que nous puissions aller de l'avant.
D'abord en informatique ou soit en programmation, ce qui est essentiel d'abord, c'est travailler en équipe. Travailler en équipe, ça veut dire qu'il faut s'échanger des idées pour faire un travail qui est un peu appréciable. Ça veut dire qu'on travaille en collaboration parfaite avec tout ce qui est agent ici. Parce que sans ça, on ne peut pas faire un meilleur boulot, soit un fruit qui sera appréciable.
En termes de valeurs, il y a ce qui est lié pratiquement à la valorisation de la vie humaine. Donc ce que nous sommes en train de faire, est-ce que cela respecte la vie humaine? Est-ce que cela respecte la vie de l'autre? Donc nous voudrions que tout ce que nous allons faire puisse impacter l'humanité de façon positive, disons.
Dans le futur, nous prévoyons sensibiliser plusieurs personnes, plusieurs entreprises afin que cette économie, cette façon de gérer soit acceptée.
Pour ce que notre génération tient à donner, moi je pense premièrement que nous attendons le cri du monde. Aujourd'hui, le monde a besoin de plus de justice. Le monde a besoin de plus d'égalité, le monde a besoin de plus d'équité. Et tous ces cris du monde, surtout nous en Afrique, qui est aussi une population très jeune, qui a à la fois besoin d'emploi, qui a à la fois besoin de modèles, nous pensons que l'économie des communions est la réponse économique à nos maux. Tous ces petits entrepreneurs qui évoluent avec nous, à une sorte d'évolution ascendant et peut-être plus tard élaborer des systèmes, élaborer des lois qui adaptent cette économie des communions à un niveau, pourquoi pas national, pourquoi pas à l'échelle africaine. Donc c'est ça le challenge pour notre génération, quitte à nous de travailler encore plus pour que les gens voient les résultats et que le monde se dise oui, dans cette économie, nous voyons l'égalité, dans cette économie, nous faisons l'équité. C'est pour cela que nous faisons le choix de cette économie.
Thank you very much. That was a good one there. We're going to get more from Daniel.
Okay, hello everybody. We're going to talk about our activities in the EoC incubator in Lubumbashi, Democratic Republic of Congo. So my name is Daniel. I'm a member of the EoC incubator in Lubumbashi. We are a team of 6 members. I'm dealing with communications. There's 2 members dealing with projects. 2 other members dealing with partnerships, and 1 other member dealing with agricultural projects. So in Lubumbashi, in our Lubumbashi incubator, we have 2 different enterprises of young, talented people. One team is called AfriSoft, and the other one is called Amshula Foods. So we are going to talk first about AfriSoft. After we talk about Amshula Foods, and then we are going to talk about life at the incubator in Lubumbashi. After that, we are going to talk about the challenges we are facing in our daily life. And at the end, we talk about our future projects we are planning on implementing. So the first team is the AfriSoft team, a team of software developers. There are 2 associates who work in software programming. They are providing management software for companies like payroll management, sales management, stocks management, etc. They have already finished the incubating stage. Now they are on the growth stage, if I could say like that, because they are already able to secure some big government contracts. They've already signed 2 big contracts with national governments, and they are very thankful for their time at the local incubator in Lubumbashi, because in the time in Lubumbashi, they learned how to work, how to cultivate the team spirit by sharing, listening, and helping each other with different challenges, different difficulties, and just being there for the other, listening to what are his problems, etc. So their time in the incubator really helped them build a team spirit. They really make a good pair working together, and now they are able to even get really big contracts from a government. So the second team is Amshula Food. Amshula Food is a woman who is working with other girls producing tomato products like jams, like ketchups and powdered tomatoes, etc. She has been also a member of the EoC incubator in Lubumbashi. She also finished at some of the incubation periods. Now she's also looking for clients. She has already some contracts with restaurants in the town. She has some contracts with big restaurants, with supermarkets, which allow her to come and sell different products. So that was everything about Amshula Food. So we are going now to talk about the life at the incubator in Lubumbashi. So our members, the members of the EoC incubator in Lubumbashi, are trained on doing business according to EoC principles, like putting the human first, understanding the need of others, and using the culture of giving. Apart from that, we are cultivating collaboration between incubator members, even collaboration between different projects, like Amshula Foods, who produces tomatoes products, and AfriSoft, who makes software. We were training them on collaborating, even if their projects are not related, but we wanted them to be like a family, talking about their challenges, sharing experiences, difficulties, contacts, or opportunities with different clients, etc. So that was the spirit in the incubator while they were in our incubator in Lubumbashi. So how does the incubator sustain? We are the budget of our incubator is provided by subventions from a partner who is called the Immediate Consulting. is the one who helped us with sustaining the incubator locally. So after that, we're going to talk about the challenges we are facing. The main challenges are finances and equipment. So we are working slowly on improving different sources of finances and equipment. So for the future, we are planning on
Hello, Daniel. I think Daniel was already at a roundup, talking about the future. I don't know, I'm sure he's having some technical challenges. Okay, we are going to go directly back to Sofia to hear from Professor Benedetto and Aiza, please.
Just a comment, in a sense, from the point of view of those who observe economic reality, what we have heard until now has to do with various bottlenecks that may hinder the entrance of the younger generation into employment or into the business world, and the importance that they receive support. One bottleneck is that, especially in some countries, employers want experienced workers, but young people cannot accumulate experience unless they are hired and then trained. But training is a costly investment, and an investment that enterprises cannot easily appropriate, because workers are free to move elsewhere. And the more they are experienced, the more alternatives they find outside the firm. So young people need someone who gives them a port of entry into employment. It's a situation similar to migrants. And once they are let in, they need some help for settling. And this help is the opportunity to learn and to go up the ladder of the various tasks that can be asked of them. Learning, of course, and training are crucial, but here there is another bottleneck, because senior workers are reluctant to transmit their knowledge to the younger colleagues, because this weakens their role position in the organization, since now there is someone else who can replace the older workers. And here, employers must be smart and somehow find the ways of encouraging serious senior workers to transmit. But here too, senior workers are asked to practice a certain amount of openness, of gratuitousness, of benevolence. And the third, that also we have heard something about this, is another way for young people to enter, that is through entrepreneurial initiatives. But managing a new initiatives requires the accomplishment of a great variety of tasks, of duties. But even the best candidate for entrepreneurship is only prepared for some of them. And so there is the need of support by someone else. In principle, all these competencies could be bought on the market, provided the young person has the money for buying them. But in many cases, it's really crucial of having the benign support of a veteran or of a hub, like the two hubs that we have seen that have been presented, which can largely increase the chances of success and also can influence on the style that the new initiative will have in its activity.
Thank you, Professor. Aisia?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I agree with those challenges Professor Gui has pointed out. And as he mentioned in the beginning, a positive attitude on the part of the senior workers towards the younger generation is important, absolutely. But if I may add, I would like to underline also that what is really needed, according to my opinion, is the reciprocal behavior between generations, a reciprocal trust between generations. Coming from a business world experience in the Philippines, I see another unfavorable conditions that market has for young people in terms of employment. I noticed that employer could take advantage of young persons in terms of salary exploitations since they lack functional competencies for a specific job. In exchange of a job experience, the workplace may offer them. And then there's another story of the contractual employment to avoid cost of regularization. On the other hand, in some cases, there's also an aspect of what we call the career ladder, which is the progression from entry-level positions to higher levels of pay and authority, meaning one should be compensated according to responsibility. In all this, what I would like to underline is that equal opportunity must be promoted both for older and younger generations in the social context that they may find themselves. There could be a passage of competence, okay, but more than a passage is an exchange of knowledge in a reciprocal relationship. Secondo me, according to my opinion, older generations could be loaded with leadership and managerial competencies, but the business landscape is moving more and more towards a digital transition, a skill which is almost innate and possessed by younger workforce. So the economic system is in the hands, let us say this, let us accept this, it is in the hands of the older generations, and they can do a lot for us young people, but we can do more together. The two generations are both called to make the workplace a common and safe ground to synergize. Here's the word synergize, where tradition and innovation serve as tools for firms' competitive advantage. That's all. Thank you.
Beautiful one there. Thank you. I think we're almost at, we are already done with the first phase of our webinar. Now we are going to move to the question and answer session. We'll give the opportunity to the host institution, the students of Sophia University. If you have questions, just unmute your mics and pose the questions directly. Then afterwards, Fernandel is going to read the questions that we've been receiving so far. So, my dear colleagues.
May I?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm Eric. I'm from Brazil. I'm a student of Sophia. I'm doing a PhD. And first of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Simon, for his exposition. Also, Steve and Mabi, that are friends, I could say. I was in Boya 1 year before the start of the hub, and I had the opportunity to meet them. And my questions was, which are the best practices in helping young entrepreneurs to build social-oriented projects or business through a hub? But Mabi and Daniel already talked about training and coaching, so I would add what has been most effective in help young people to orient socially their plans, their projects, or their businesses.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I think Mr. Simon, Steve, and Mabi are here.
Yes, thank you, Vanessa. I hope you can get me very well when I speak. Do you? Good, fantastic. Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure to see you here again today. We've missed a long time ago. So going to your question, as you said, Mabi and Daniel have already answered, given some answers with the training and coaching part. You know, engaging into social activities, social entrepreneurship is something first that should come from your heart. You should decide to take that option, first of all, as an entrepreneur. And as you've decided, as you've made the decision to take the option of getting a social business, now what we can do is just to help you in that process. Helping you in our way, you know, with the economy of communion, we have one main point, that is having God as our main associate. First of all, in that line, we help you. If you are a Muslim, we just help you in that way, first of all. And then we go now to the impact of the social idea. What is the impact of the social idea? We put you in contact with entrepreneurs who are in that line already. So as together with them, you can develop the research development to deepen the knowledges of that specific idea you had. That's why we have a network of entrepreneurs that we can contact at any time for them to help us in that line. So according to us, those are the two things we do to accompany the young people with social business ideas, more than training and coaching and mentoring. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Any other question from the Sophia students? Sofiani.
Sophia student, if you ever ask question.
Okay, I can start. Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm Simona. I'm a PhD student in Sofia. And it's a great pleasure to meet you and to meet some old friends like Mabi. Yeah, I was very impressed from your experience, very, very nice, really, it's pure life. And I would like to ask you if you would like to share with us again something more about how you decide when the two purposes, no, financial purpose and social purpose, sometimes come into conflict. And also you have to decide, for example, how to share the values that your enterprise created. And this is also a challenging task, I think. No? So if you can tell me how you decide, for example, you decide alone, you share the decision with other persons in your enterprises. It could be interesting to share something about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simona. We are all ears for the answer. Maybe
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Simona, for that question. Like I said in the introduction, it's a new little enterprise, but there is something that marked me from the very first day that I began. I think sometimes you want to adhere to the EoC principles, like I said, and at a certain time also, it's very difficult because you're thinking that maybe as a start, you should do what others are doing so that you gain your grounds first before you start saying, oh, I'm EoC, I'm principles. But Steve told me something that was very important from the beginning, the very beginning of this little enterprise. He said, don't wait, Mabi, don't wait to be big before you say you want to become an EoC enterprise. To tell you the truth, it has remained in me forever. He said, don't wait to be big, because in the back of my mind, that's what I was thinking. So now moving little by little with these principles, it has really been a great deal. I cannot tell you how many experiences we have already made trying to go against what we are not supposed to do, just being born. And just like you say, sometimes who do you take decisions with since it's still very new? You know, once you adhere to the principles, no matter the person who is working with you, even if he is not even if he doesn't adhere to the principles, automatically he becomes like he has already adhered, you know, because you will not treat him differently. I think with the workers, we have been making really, really beautiful experiences. And you see that they themselves, they understand that there is something a little bit different. So they want to live, even without you saying anything in the beginning, they want to live the kind of principles that you're living in the business. So to say the truth, it has to really come from the mind to decide that you want to follow the principles into a business like this one. It has to really come from your mind and your heart, but it has really, really, really been moving fine. Sometimes you see some little miracles happening after taking some decisions that you're just like, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah, and also with the financial part of it, I'll tell you a little secret. Sometimes it's so difficult to start with very little capital, just like with what I did. But as time goes, I say to myself, you know, sometimes it was even better to start with very little capital because it makes you to know the business a little more and to be able to manage the very little that you have, so that tomorrow, if you have a great, let me say you have a greater capital, you'll be able to manage it better. It's not very easy what I'm saying, but it's true because I would really like to grow very fast. But what I'm discovering with myself and with the business is that with the little capital that you have, you try to manage it, you try to know your employees, you try to know your business, you understand your business. And tomorrow, if you have a bigger capital, you will be able to also manage it. But if I run into a very big capital now, maybe I'm going to mismanage it because I'm so eager about wanting a very big capital. But if I manage the little one, I'm sure that when I go to the bigger part of it, I'll be able to manage it also.
Okay, thank you very much, Mabi. I feel Mr. Simon has something to say with respect to employing young people, acquire skills.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's not a question of, the question comes back to, because the tendency is that enterprises or companies want to employ young people, but they want to employ young people with acquired skills, whereas they have to start somewhere. Well, I'll just use a simple example. At one point, we had a couple of interns who came to do what we call internship in our secretariat. You know, our training to them was about 3 months. And after the 3 months, they left. And at one point, we had a need to have a secretary with acquired skills. And so we went back and sent out letters to these persons we had trained. And one of them who had left Yaoundé and was working in Douala and had come back to Yaoundé because she had lost her job, told us she was available. So it was very touching to me to get somebody we had trained employed in our structure. You know, I always felt that we did a good job, because if we did not give her a proper training in when she was doing her internship, we would never have thought of bringing her back into our structure. So it's like, let companies, enterprises take this responsibility to give the opportunity to young people to get trained within their structures, even if they don't have to work there, because subsequently they might be of service to them when the need arises. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon. Fernanda, are there some other questions?
Yes, I have some few questions with me. I will first of all thank the speakers for the marvelous job well done. The first question goes to Mr. Steve, which is from Simon Eric Braquet. He asks this: which are the best practices in helping entrepreneurs to develop social-oriented projects through the help?
I think we answered that already. if you won't
Not
mind,
yet.
to save time.
The second question is from one of our lecturers in the university, John Pedro Paulin. He asks how moral values push the business. Is it a matter of increasing the purpose? How does your moral value push your business? Is it to increase the, is it kind to increase the purpose of the business, or do you have a different objective behind?
I guess the question probably is, I'm a target of it. Well, the point is that, as I said in the expose or in the answers to the questions that were asked by Vanessa, so I said, it's not necessarily the question of trying to have a company grow in terms of personnel, in terms of branches in different places, but you get a satisfaction in the things you do. You get satisfaction in what you do. It's not very much the monetary part of it or how you enjoy the growth of the company. You know, you just want to do something, you break even. And in breaking even, you give satisfaction to those with whom you work, and you acquire your own satisfaction. I mean, so I don't know whether that gets towards the answer to the question you have asked. Fernandel?
Okay, thank you, sir. If Professor Gian Pedro has understood, I think he is satisfied. One of the other questions we have is from Abdullah Al-Trash. What do you expect as an entrepreneur of EoC from the new African Continental Free Trade Area and the African Passport Policy?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Nowadays, we are talking of SLECA, the new African Trade Continental Free. And the SLECA is very important nowadays to help really to be able to export our product within Africa, you know. And that decision, if really is being implemented, is going to be of good help. You know, now from Cameroon to Nigeria, from Cameroon to Chad, to export something, you still need to pay what we call TVA and some importation taxes. So, but if the SLECA is really put into practice, those taxes won't be existing anymore. And it will be easily for our entrepreneurs to export their product in the countries of the sub-Saharan regions easily. So we think it's a good opportunity for us too, when that will definitely be put in practice. Concerning the policies in regards of passports, we hope it should really take place also, but for now, still in preparation. But it could also be a good way to facilitate the moving of people from one country to another. Of course, still be expected, and once you will be there, we will be very happy to use all the opportunities. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. A big thank you to everyone. Fallon, we are almost out of time, so if you can just rush it up.
Can I just ask, yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. I didn't want to, I could not leave that because of the seminar without thanking all the two team who presented, especially Cameroon, who saw me going up. I would like to just ask something very simple, because from what we realize now, everybody from the team, like Mabi Steve or Mama Melanie, all of you have received a training like from EoC or from the movement. Mabi was at Sophia. What of those who have not got that opportunity? How do you cooperate with them? Is it all? Are you dealing only with people who are part of this team, or you have also other people? Because it's important not to keep what is good just for us. So I want to know, because a normal company will tell you, okay, I'm doing corporate social responsibility. So for me, it's also a way of giving back to the community. But how do you manage that part? I don't know if my question is well understood.
Yeah. Yes, Manuela, your question is understood. And it's a good question. I think like when I presented for the help in Cameroon, you see that all those who passed through the help, let me not say all, but most of those who passed through the help in Cameroon, they are persons who don't know anything. who don't know anything about it. I mean, they are getting to know about economy of communion hub for the first time. And I mean, we work with them, and there's nothing like, there's no some sort of this person knows or this person doesn't know. Just like you said, it's open to everybody. And that's even our desire. The desire is to give out to even those who don't know. For example, also in Maps and Smalls teaching, all those who work with me, they are those who don't know anything. Now they are knowing about the economy of communion for the ever very first time. There are persons I did not even know. We just threw out the, we just threw out that we are looking for some workers. It's true that a lot of those that we knew also came into for the interview, but we're very fair enough to take the best, those who really wanted to work. So yeah, it's not, there's no distinction of knowing or not knowing. That's instead our target, to go out there, to make those who don't know to know, not to keep working with the same persons, with the same environment. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for this wonderful moment spent together. We wish to say hello to Mama Melanie, all those who are connecting far and near, all the translators, the technical team. Thank you so much for this wonderful moment spent together. And we hope to see each other sometime. A special anniversary to all the EoC members on the 29th of May 2021. We are going to have a live broadcast from YouTube for the anniversary of the economy, or the 30th anniversary of the economy of communion. So thank you very much, and ciao to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao, ciao.
Thank you for all. Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Thank you,
Ciao.
everyone. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Good. They don't go.
Check when they don't
Yeah.